Hey everybody, it's Tammy from Tucson Junksters. I wanted to come on and show you how I made my new Roycycled sign for the booth. We had rearranged the whole booth, moved the papers to the back wall, and it just needed a new sign. The sign I had just wasn't good enough, so I decided to make this one. So I found these 3 boards that matched. I didn't have one that was long enough, so the matching boards worked just fine. I figured I could just hook them together, decoupage them with some recycled paper, and it would look amazing. So here I am working on that. I cut 3 different pieces of paper, all from the same paper, to fit on there. They all matched perfectly. And I'm using crystal clear liquid patina from DIY Paint. You can use whatever decoupage medium that you have, but this is the one that I sell. This is the one that I love. And this is the one that works best for me. I also misted the paper a little bit before I put it on, and that helps it to lay down nice and flat with no bubbles. And I did this on all 3 pieces, making sure I had enough decoupage medium on there. And again, spritzing the paper and putting it on and putting a top coat on and setting it aside. Did this, like I said, with all 3, set it aside so that it could dry, and then I would use that sanding block to sand it off all around the edges, and I will get to that here shortly. After that, I decided to work on the letters. We had bought the letters, but at the time the store didn't have an L, so we had to cut an L out of an E. And my husband did this part, and look how good that looks. He did a great job. It looks just like an L. He just cut off those top 2 pieces, and it worked out perfectly. I then had to go in and do some touch-up painting though. So with some white paint, I just went along the edges, and you couldn't even tell that it had been cut after that. I did sand it a little bit as well before I painted it, just to make the edges a little smoother. But it worked out perfect, and you couldn't even tell that he had cut it from an E. Turned out perfect. After that, I went ahead and sanded everything down since they had dried. I'm using a sanding block to go around the edges. And you just want to always make sure that you go in a downward motion when doing this. If you go up and down, or if you go just up, you're going to rip your paper, or it's going to peel it off of your project that you're working on. So just make sure you're going down and go all the way around, and it should just come off in one big piece all the way around, which is what it did for me. And I did this on all 3 of the boards, all the way around. After I was done with this, I went ahead and laid them all together, and I put the letters on there, just making sure that they were going to fit the way I wanted them to, and kind of aligning them a certain way so that they just look like they fit the best. So I did that, and then I decided I needed to paint around the edges of the boards, and in between the cracks where I'm going to glue them together and stick them together, that needed to be a darker color. So I'm going to go ahead and use Little Black Dress from DIY Paint, and I'm going to paint all around all of the boards, just so that it all comes together. And using the black, it just blends right in with the paper, and it just looked really well. So I really liked how that turned out. After this, I did turn them over and I hooked them all together. I forgot to tape that part, but I hooked them all together with a couple small little boards, some staples and some glue, and it worked out really well. Here I'm using some hot glue, and I'm gluing all the letters down, and it turns out really good. If you're local to Tucson, come visit my shop, 5302 East 22nd Street, the 22nd Street Antique Mall, and see all my papers. The sign turned out great. Look at that.